All righty, welcome here, folks. As we're coming to you live, loud, and proud from Bison Brew here in basically downtown Joaquin, almost, huh, Coach?
Yeah, right on the corner. Right
on the corner of the turn here. Coach Jones here with us as we get ready for some Ram talk here. And this week we're going to be on Thursday. We're going to be here for the Garrison game coming up here, and then Friday night we'll make our way over to St. Augustine for Timpson St. Augustine, wrap up the regular season, and we'll see where everybody's going to be here and this and that and another. But Coach is here, and we got the guys over here eating what is known as the Hollywood Club. This thing is huge.
Yeah, that one is probably named after a former player of mine, I would imagine. Well, I had a cornerback last year named Hollywood. I think he actually told me last year, I had him for a class first period last year. I think he told me that sandwich was named after him.
There you go.
The girls back there, they're nodding, yeah, it's named after him.
Basically, it's like 3 pieces of Texas toast and ham and bacon and all kinds of stuff. And the guys are having a good time eating over there. They may not be able to talk to us here in a little while.
That's his brother sitting right there. You ain't got something named after you, Kaysen?
Not yet?
No, not yet.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, the food here is great. We're at Bison Brew here this evening and doing the Ram talk here. And we're going to start off with Coach here, and as sure, you know, the food. And also when we were here, they were closed, but we had some folks that were driving through from Orlando. Is that where they were from? I'm talking to the girls back there. And they just stopped in and said, hey, we're hungry. And they fed them, you know, and they got a bunch of cool stuff, and they've got some everything too. So, you know, see these people coming through and got good customer service whenever they were here, that's for sure. And the food is great all the time. You see all the great specials there. You eat here quite a bit?
No, probably not as much as April and Stacy would like for me to eat here, but
we were talking before we come on to understand probably why you might have to watch your diet a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, watch my, you know, I was coming by here. We were talking about, you know, me drinking energy drinks last year. I was drinking energy drinks and coming by here getting coffees all the time. I love caffeine. Don't get me wrong on that, but here lately I cut back no caffeine after about 10 a.m. in the morning.
There you go. There you go. That's
doctor's orders.
Doctor's orders. I understand that. That's exactly right. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, there's a great place here at Bison Brew. Stop by here and check out all the food all the time and the great desserts that they have as well. All right, let's move in here and let's talk about all things around Joaquin here. I got some different things that are going on here, and I see that you're having a food drive coming up on November 10th through the 14th here, and you can find out more information there at the Joaquin Junior High. I guess they're doing all that for the food drive here and helping out. And then I was going to ask you, too, we are going to talk about some other sports and things, but how about some of the youth guys, the younger guys? I know that the youth football guys were doing some ball. They're pretty much wrapping up that last couple weekends, I think.
I think they're starting to wrap up. I know for sure we have one group that's undefeated right now. I think that's the 3rd and 4th graders, maybe.
Right.
And I know they're doing really good, and that's Coach Mike that works with me. That's his one of his sons that's coaching. It's his grandkid that's on the team. But I know they're doing really good right now, and so I'm sure they'll win the Super Bowl or whatever it is at the end of it.
Right. I know last year we were in West Sabine and did those championship games there. We might have the chance to do that again this year. I also see that the football, some of those football youngsters are probably getting ready for basketball. So you get some basketball signed up, getting ready for the little Rams out there, getting ready to go too.
Yeah, I know. I've got both of mine signed up this year for the little dribblers, and we're looking forward to that.
Right. And another thing, too, that you can get in on is the athletic boosters here. They have the big drawing coming up this Thursday for a lot of things here, and that's helping out the athletic boosters. So get your tickets. They may still have some of those left.
You know, everybody was kind of turning them in today, and I did see a few of them that were unsold. So if you're, you know, looking to win a gun, contact the athletic boosters or the coaches. I think some of my coaches may still have their tickets. They didn't turn them all in today. So if you haven't bought your ticket, get out there and get one.
Better get in. It helps out the Athletic Booster Club. That is for sure there. Let's see. Talking about some cross-country, and had some cross-country qualifiers there in regional, but I didn't move on there. But still a good cross-country season for the kids, I think.
Yeah, so the two that actually qualified, I mean, they're both kin to me. Well, one of them is my niece, and that was Landry Balcom. That's my sister. That's her daughter. And then the other one, she's not kin to me, but she's Landry's cousin, and that's Elena Dean, and that's Jeff Dean and Ashley Dean's daughter, and they both did fantastic job. They both can run forever, both of them.
And
just in their blood.
Right, that cross country is a great program to get into. I tell you, and you just do good stuff right there. Let's see. Moving on to a couple other things. The varsity cheerleaders. I see that they did really good. They were regional champs.
Yeah. So the only bad part about that is I had to babysit my two boys by myself yesterday. But Madison and Kinsey, they took the cheer squad to, I think, somewhere in Houston. I'm not real sure where. her. I didn't ask all the details. But all I knew is that I had to wake up at 8 o'clock and go wrap a cheerleader's ankle yesterday morning because somebody had sprained an ankle. But they left yesterday real early, and they came back at midnight with trophies and banners and everything
That's
else.
awesome.
And that they do a real good job with the cheerleaders.
Right, yeah, cheerleaders, they're a big part of it. And cheerleading is a big-time sport, too. Don't let anybody tell you that's not.
I tell you what, anybody that don't think cheerleaders and the band matters, you can just ask that 15-yard penalty I got on Friday.
I was wondering where that came from.
Yeah. It wasn't a lot of people ask if it was not on me. It
Right,
was not on me.
not on you.
It was not on me.
Wow. But that is great. Yeah, those cheerleaders in the band does a really good job there, and we appreciate them getting out there for sure. Let's see. Coming up here, too, we have some the junior high and the JV. They're going to be at Garrison. That's tomorrow at 5. Is that wrapping up their seasons tomorrow?
Yeah, so they're going to wrap up their season. One junior high game, our 8th grade is going to play, and then our JV is going to play. And, the thing with playing on Tuesday was the varsity game is on Thursday, and that has everything to do with the referees trying to get good officials for the games. Because if you're willing to move your game to a Thursday, that they have all of their, I don't know how people know this or not, but their crews are ranked as far as the better, more experienced crews, and so by moving your game to a Thursday night or a Saturday night, you can get a really good crew, like a playoff caliber, crew of officials. And so when and where I could do that this year, I went ahead and did it. So the games that y'all came to that we did play on Thursday this year, that was to get better officiating. And as far as I can tell, it works. It works. The crew on Friday night, they will be a really experienced playoff crew. Hopefully, you just notice that the fans, they don't get too upset when you have one of those crews, that they do a real professional job.
Right. Yeah, those officials have a hard job out there, too, So,
it is.
You can know it, not paying me to be official.
Nothing easy about it. And, I try to level with them all the time. And, I always tell them, I'm going to advocate that we're right. But when I'm wrong, when the game's over, I always make an effort to go tell them and tell them what they did. The guy that was doing he was the umpire, and he was young for an umpire.
Right.
I believe his name was Kel Henson. I think that was his name. He was the umpire. And I try to memorize their names if I can. But, I got in a pretty good argument with him about a call that was made in the game at the time. And I was pretty fiery. I defend the boys out there as much as I can. And then about halftime, he came back over there trying to, tell me what he had saw and what had happened. I just kind of patted him on the back, and I said, hey, man, you're right. I'm wrong. I said, and he kind of looked at me funny, and I said, listen, I'm going to argue to get that call all day long. I said, but when I'm wrong, I promise I'll come back to you and tell you that I was wrong.
Right.
And I knew I was wrong at the time, but you advocate for your kids on anything close like that. That's just part of the coaching gig,
Right.
And when you get a crew of officials, and I honestly thought the crew the other night, I had a bunch of people ask me, what I thought about them. They didn't like this or that. And I said, other than a few calls, which you're always going to have, I thought they did a decent job. I really did. I thought they did a decent job for us.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, sometimes you sit out there and you can really say, well, the officials this and the officials that, but they're calling it both ways, and trying to make it as good on both sides too, and they can't see everything out there, that's for sure. And I mean, we all have our vantage points, but they have a better vantage point down there on the field too. So I know I give them a hard time as well, so I got to be careful with that too. So I got to be, but that's all right. But thanks to all the officials out there. All right, one other thing here as we go around Joaquin is you got the Red Ribbon Week that's coming up, so everybody take part in that's coming up in Lighter Ogden in November. So there we go on that. So that's just a few things that are going on around Joaquin that you can take advantage of and check out some good things. Now we got Coach here. Let's go back and talk about a couple of these district games here. It's been a little while since I got to chat with you, and I got to call the San Augustine and Joaquin game there. So we're going to start off there, and that was a great game. I think there was a lot of turnovers there on both sides of that ball game. There could have went either way out there, but it ended up in San Augustine getting that one big play at the to kind of to put it away there.
Yeah, going into that game, there was a whole lot that we had going on behind the scenes that most people didn't know about, and I actually brought one of them because of that. That's Mr. O'Rear over there. So he actually stepped in to play center that week that we played San Augustine because Brent Cummins, of course, had been our center throughout the entire year, and he went and got his knee checked out the week before and didn't get good news. And so I had told Evan actually back during the spring when we start working backups and like we try to decide all of those things in the spring. And so he had actually started snapping the ball in the spring. I said, hey, listen, babe, if everything goes right, you're never going to have to do this. I said,
right.
But if everything don't go right, I'm going to need you to be really good at this.
Right.
And so it was one of them situations where you hope for the best but prepare for the worst. And he jumped in there that week. And it's just going to – doing what we do, it's going to happen. You're going to have some bad snaps, if you go out there the first week and try to do it. And I thought he did a great job stepping into that role that week in a huge game, maybe the district championship game that we played that day. And we put a couple of balls on the ground there. We had a few fumbles. We had a punt. And, St. Augustine, they had a bunch of mistakes too. But sometimes we were watching the Honeygrove game earlier tonight. Somebody showed me a video I'd never seen of it. And, there were turnovers in that game too, So it's when you get in a high-stakes game like that, kids are a little nervous. They're a little jittery, They're not thinking about protecting the ball maybe as much as they should. And you end up with some balls on the ground and stuff like that. But I really could not have been happier with how he performed in the game, stepping in for the first time. I think we dropped 2. Was it 2 or 3? First game, SA? I think it was 3 because we have slowly whittled it down to it was 1 last week. And he's done a great job. He gets better and better every single week, blocking who he's supposed to block and doing things the right way. But that's tough moving from a guard position for us, which is a lot different, and going in there and playing center for us. But he jumped in there that game. And I think the tell of the tape was just, we made one more mistake than they did. And that they ended up coming, hats off to them, that they came out with the win. And I take nothing away from them being down there playing in St. Augustine. I won't mention the referees.
Right. Not the referees on that night, that's for sure. Right? Well, then after that game there, and then you move in, and it was a tough loss there, but you was able to bounce back, against a Hemp Hill team that, was kind of down here, but you were able to go down and work out some of the details and get some things ready to go. But that was a good game there against Hemp Hill to kind of bounce back and get that, district win. Yeah,
that was a good confidence booster for us. We when you start district, whether you're us or SA right there, like, starting off 2-0 is huge, and I told somebody, like, whoever, if SA, it's the same way last year, like their season could have went a lot differently had they won the game here last year, and they were a formidable opponent last year. I mean, defensively, I thought they were a little bit better last year. I mean, but they had an injury that happened in the game versus us last year, a big one. He was the kid that got hurt. I remember when I watched him on film, I think he was number 53. I mean, he was a ferocious defensive lineman. And
J.D. Garner.
Yeah, and they had, a great defense last year, and we were an extremely talented team that was out there, that they were having to deal with. And I think that maybe got the best of them that first game of district last year. And but with us being able to rebound versus Hemp Hill and get that win, even though, one thing I'll say about our bunch, here is – kudos to the boys. I give them all the credit in the world, but we don't really let the past linger on us very much. If we lose one, and it's been that way really since last year. We played that tough game with Timpson here last year, and we came out on the short end of the stick on that one, and we didn't really let it bother us. We rolled into the next week against Shelbyville, and we got a win. We took that loss to Garrison as the last game of the season, playing for the district championship. But by the next week, the first round against Centerville, we shook it off and played maybe the best football game I've ever seen our kids play.
Right.
And so we don't linger in the past too much. So as far as getting over the hump, it was nice to play Hemp Hill, but it could have been anybody.
Right. And then after that, too, and it was a big win over there, especially if you can go to Timpson and beat them at their homecoming over there. That's a pretty big win over there in Timpson for you guys after that. Yeah,
and it really worried me going over there and playing Timpson, because watching them on film before –
They're fast.
But yes, before they took the loss to Shelbyville – They blocked well. They tackled well. They had running backs that were insanely fast. They get kids to split out wide that could run and catch. A couple of them kids that played on their state championship team, they're still there. And as I watched them on film, they were a formidable opponent, I'll say that. And so you're a little nervous going into their place. That what they've kind of shifted to doing now, it's a physical style of football, and it looks like their kids have embraced that really, really well on the offensive line. And I knew they were going to get after it and get after us, and they did. And they did a great job in lots of ways, when you watch the film back. But that one, I think we took control of it early. We had a pretty good game plan. We threw a 95-yard touchdown pass to start the game. Nice. And games just don't start out any better than that, you know. And once we got up, we look up and we're up 12-0, and we're driving and we fumble the ball. We had an opportunity to go up 3 scores right there, and I think the game may have looked a little bit differently had we not fumbled the ball right there and let them back into it. But yeah, that game made us better. I'll say that. I know that after we walked away from that one, we were fairly confident, you know, and I see that in us right now. We're fairly confident in who we are and what we can do. And I think as the opponents come up now, we're kind of just measuring ourselves, and we're realizing that we're a little further than we thought we were. You know?
Yeah, I like the look of the team here. I know that you guys had a couple of losses there in there, but some really good teams. But we bounced back in it, and coming out here strong in the district. Sort of like what we saw the Rams do coming in from last year. So it's ready to roll into that part of it. Should be really good.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right. All right, Coach. Well, you got a couple guys here. Who we got over here?
You got Kaysen Staniland right there. You've got Jacob Kaysen. He plays tight end for me.
Right.
Okay. This is Jacob Gatlin. He plays tailback and cornerback. He's one of the best cornerbacks in the state of Texas. He's the one that had the 3 interceptions versus Beckville. Okay. And then you got J.B. Wilson right here.
Running the ball.
He's the fullback. And then you've got Evan O'Rear, Mr. Center himself right there. Awesome.
Well, I want to tell you, too, because he's not here, but, I like Mr. Cummins.
Yeah.
And I like what big man did, come up the line and made a tackle. That was one of the greatest things I've seen from the other night.
So he's done that multiple times the last 2 weeks, and I actually told them today when we were passing out stickers, I said, I guess Brody was the defensive MVP of last week, and I said, guys, Brody, he's coming into his own right now. He is playing down the line of scrimmage. Hey, he tackled – one of them tackles was on a screen pass.
Right.
He came from defensive tackle all the way down the line and tackled it was Shelbyville's #1 receiver coming back inside on a jailbreak. And for a big man like that to be making that play, that's incredible effort. I know that.
Yeah, I called him out and I said, there's a big man Brody coming up the line to make that tackle. I loved it. It was awesome right there. That was really good. And some great plays, too. A couple players we want to talk about later on, too, as we get into it. And we'll talk about that Shelbyville game. But saw some great play out there from a lot of the guys out there. So let's see. We're going to take a break here, and we'll bring a couple of the guys over. It doesn't matter. We'll talk whoever we need to, and then we'll just ask a few questions here, and then it'll be all good. And then we'll bring Coach back, and we'll talk a little bit about the Shelbyville game and what we got ready to get ready for the big game on Garrison.
Gotcha.
Sound good? All right, we'll be right back here on NETSN.
Wright Chrysler Dodge Jeep in Center proudly supports all the students and schools of the Piney Woods. Stop by the lot and feel free to check out all the wonderful vehicles we have to offer, no matter what adventure you're planning on taking. We have a wide selection of used vehicles and a service department that can service your vehicle. Get all the info you need about your next vehicle online. That way you're prepared for your car deal when you hit the lot. Wright Chrysler Dodge Jeep in Center.
It doesn't matter if you need a truck tire or if you need a car tire. If you need a tire, you call Joaquin Tire. Joaquin Tire Shop provides new and used tires, along with oil changes and 24-hour road service. Stop and see them on Highway 7 in Joaquin.
Joaquin Ram fans know that Kay's Hardware is the Joaquin supply store. You can search high or low, but eventually you will see the signs. Kay's Hardware is the key to finding what you need for your job. Located at the 42 where Highway 84 divides itself, it's Kay's Hardware back at the Rams.
Whether it's with family and friends or just some time to yourself, summer is better on the water. And Farmers State Bank has exactly what you need to make those dreams come true. Learn more at fsbctx.bank.
All right, folks, back here for some Ram talk here. We got a couple of offensive linemen here. And so who we got here? Tell us who we got. If it's allowed, let me know.
Casey Stanley.
Casey Stanley?
Evan O'Rear.
All right, so Stanley, let's see. I see you doing some kicking out there too, man. Is that one of your passions there to be a kicker here or something?
Yes, sir. A little bit.
Pull your microphone up there. That's kind of wonky on there sometimes if it falls down. There you go. So is it something you've done for a while? Is it something you kind of came into and started to be a part of?
I actually started last year.
Really?
Yes, sir.
And I've seen you out there kicking some good field goals out there, so that's always another weapon that a coach has to have out there. So beyond kicker, on the defensive side, what are you out there playing?
Backup defensive end, actually.
Out there on their side. And on the offensive side?
Tight end.
Tight end out there, that's what I'm talking about. So getting a chance to play on that offensive side here, and the style of offense that you guys run out here is really particular. You got to have your own job and everything that you do out there. So what are some of the fun parts that you like to play whenever you're out there? I mean, hitting somebody or getting a release and maybe get a chance at a pass. What's going on?
I like mostly catching the passes, but I also got to be able to do my job blocking too.
Right down on the line. So, excuse me. Let me take this off here. Something just popped up. Sorry. There we go. All right. So okay, we're good. So as long as you're getting out there and on the defensive side, whenever you just what's your favorite part out there on the defensive side?
Making the tackles, but you also got to do your job.
Right.
Do what you're supposed to and do what you're coached.
There you go. So as you're coming up here in this year, and you got any plans for after school? Anything going on?
Not sports-wise probably, but plan to go to college and get a degree in business.
Business or something. There you go. Nothing wrong with that. All right, so moving over here, let's talk a little bit offensive line here. And so coaches tell me that you were moving in there and you got to play center. So you moved from guard to play center, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, there you go. And I played center whenever I was going through my ball years, and that's not the easy position to play, is it?
Oh, no, sir. I mean, it's, going from a quick guard to center is a lot more technical. You got a lot more stuff to do. You got to snap the ball and then you got to block. It's a lot harder.
Right.
A lot more thinking involved.
Yeah, that's what we hate. Even though us big guys up front are the smartest guys out there, we still have to think. A little more.
Yes, sir.
And the one thing too is a lot of people don't realize. Some people see like whenever I'm sure you can attest to it. Giving that snap and it may be lower off to the side a little bit, and sometimes it means you're trying to get that reach block a little bit quicker. So that's probably why you see some of that, right?
Yes, sir.
That's hard to get around.
Step before you snap sometimes and mess it up. It's just. Whole offense rides on you getting that snap off. You can't get that snap off, nothing works.
Nothing's going to play.
So
tell me, too, you got a great quarterback out there that, you guys have been he's done a great job all season long out there. So how's, as a line, collectively, in your opinion, how you do for your quarterback and how you like being out there in front of him?
Trenton, our quarterback, he's the greatest quarterback. I think he's probably the best quarterback in 2A. I love the dude. He's
right.
He's a great guy to block for, and he's a dude.
Right.
He's a heck of a dude.
Big dog bringing it down there, right?
Yes,
That's
sir.
it. That's it.
Yes, sir.
So, and talking to Stanley over here once again, when you come up here, and some of your teammates out there, you guys have been going through some of these things, last year, the camaraderie and the small town of feel of it, and that's is it. Would you rather play here, or maybe just would you like to play somewhere else? I mean, you're playing in a small town like this, you got to love the small town appeal.
Small town's definitely fun because you got all the community coming together, supporting you.
All right.
They travel with you. It's fun.
Right. And two, last weekend you got to see that crowd that in Shelbyville. Now this is the second time y'all got to play Shelbyville and beat Shelbyville, which is, I know, a big rivalry for you guys. So what's it like to look over there and hear that crowd, especially there towards the end of that one?
It was fun.
Right.
Last year we had them in playoffs, and the fans traveled out, and it was loud. It felt the same as last week as it did then.
There you go. And same thing for you, man. I mean, you're out there on the offensive line. You're trying to make calls, and the crowd's loud out there. It's kind of hard to hear sometimes, ain't it?
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, it's hard to hear him. He's under center sometimes. They're so loud.
Right.
It's just – but, it's amazing, just hearing them. You got a whole town behind you. It's
right.
It's, nothing else like it. You know what I'm talking about? So
Yeah. Well, and also too, talk about you guys on the offensive line. You guys have like a little bit of a brotherhood type of thing, that you have, because I went through it as well. So, what are some of the things you guys do away from football to kind of like maybe get your mind off of it a little bit, just to take a breather from football?
Well, me and Carson, he's the quick guard, so he's to my side, and then Aiden, we're all seniors, so we hang out a lot, and I'm with those guys all the time in the classroom and everything. I grew up with those guys, playing football with them forever. So just sometimes me and Carson will hop on the game, playing a game every once in a while, but just a lot in the classroom and a lot of hanging out with those guys, and even the tackles like Brennan and Brody Cummings, it is in a sense a very, very, very much a brotherhood.
Right.
You're very close with all those guys, so it's just
whenever y'all can get away and have some fun and get away from it. I know it's hard to do that stuff. There you go. Well, that's great, because I mean, and too, we talked a little bit about the community here, but and so being a senior, what, got any plans after school, or thinking about something just yet? Trade school, something?
I was going to go to Angelina College and go do their radiology program and like take pictures of images of bones and stuff, and then transition to like a radiation therapist and
there you go.
Treat cancer patients and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. There you go.
Yes, sir.
Do you have somebody in your family that had a issue with that? If you don't mind me asking,
my mom
passed away from pancreatic cancer, so I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yes,
so your mom's a nurse. Oh, that's
my
cool.
mom's a nurse, so it's just in the medical field's very I guess attractive to me.
Well,
I like that. So
help people and stuff. There you go.
Yes, sir. That's
awesome. There you go. That's one thing. All right, now too, let me ask you guys. Jacob, first, how you like with your coaches? Everything good with the coaches? I mean, you can talk about coaching. You're not going to say nothing while you're on here if you need to. But tell me, I mean, your relationship with your coaches. I mean, those guys have to be pretty intense for you guys out there as you go along.
Yes, sir. They motivate us and they push us, but they keep us in line and.
There you go.
On the right path.
Very motivated. I like the very respectful to you guys, and it's all out that way too. So, same with the offensive line coaches here. Those guys can, I know those offensive line coaches can be a little crazy. But how about yours?
I mean, we got Coach Mike as our offensive line coach, and he's, he can get very worked up, but he's pretty chill. But as far as coaches, we got Coach Jones and Coach Chris. They light enough fire to last for ages in Joaquin. So, but no, they're all amazing. Coach Jones is an amazing coach, and Coach Chris is amazing. Coach Mike, all them coaches, they all deserve props and everything. They're amazing coaches.
That's awesome too, and you guys got a great community that supports you guys all the time too, and everything here too. And I got to ask you, how'd you like the sandwiches? Were you able to finish them thing?
No, I finished the whole thing. There's no crumbs left in that thing, I promise.
That's a lineman eating right there.
Oh, yes, sir.
Because you got a camera and everything? Okay. All right, well, we're going to take a break. We're going to bring the other guys in here. We're going to have to change out a little bit of camera. But thanks, you guys, for being here. Good luck to you guys on against Garrison, and I'm sure we'll see you along the playoffs along somewhere. Huh?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. We'll be right back.
Diamond B Cafe on the corner of Tenaha and Timpson is open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. and on the Lord's Day Sunday, 7 until 2. Diamond B Cafe was voted the best breakfast in Shelby County, and that breakfast or dinner menu is available anytime that they're open. So stop on by Diamond B Cafe and visit the Brandons on the corner of Tenaha and Timpson in Center. Raymond Motor Company, just off the square in downtown Center, where you'll find the friendliest of sales folks. Whether you're looking for a new SUV for the family or a brand new truck, Raymond Motors has a great service department and a huge selection of used vehicles. Raymond Motor Company, just off the square in downtown Center.
All righty, we're back here with some Ram talk, and we got a couple more players here with us. So who we got now? Who we talking to?
J.B. Wilson.
Mr. Wilson
Jacob Gatlin.
and Mr. Gatlin. Now, I see you guys out there playing ball and playing really good out there so far this year. So how's the season going for you so far?
It's going great.
Going good? So what's your favorite part of it so far?
Just being with my teammates and having fun out there.
There you go. What about you, man?
I just like playing the game, like going out there and hitting somebody,
Right.
laying the wood on.
Yeah, I seen you laying some wood out there a few times out there. You guys are going on there for sure. So would you rather run the ball or go out there and play on the defensive side?
I'd have to go with defensive side.
Really?
Man, me personally, I like defense.
Yeah, I think that's what everybody like. Even though you run the ball out there a little bit, but you get on that defense, you get to get out there and smack somebody around. And playing an offensive line, you don't get to do that. I mean, you get to hit people, but you don't get to lay it out there like you want to sometimes. That's for sure. All right, so tell me though, whenever you got your offense, you're on the offensive side there. You got the big guys out front, and the way that offense runs. I mean, there's so many pieces to it. I mean, I tell people too, whenever you play an offense like that on the defense, you got to stay at home. So how do you guys, make sure you're in the right spot?
Well, I just listen to my coach in practice, and whatever he tells me to get and do, I'll get there and I'll do it.
Right.
And I'll stay calm while doing it.
There you go. That's the way to do it. Because sometimes I look at them like, and you guys got me confused. I'm sitting there calling one guy here, and y'all are going somewhere else out there too. But same thing. I mean, whenever you get to run the ball out there, I mean, it's just your chance to just move around or what?
Kind of just like slow it down. Make sure you see what's going on, so you can get in the right spot at the right time.
Right.
Make a big play.
There you go. Pick that up there a little bit there, man. There you go. That thing gets a little longer. There you go. Making a big plays, and that's what it is too. Because I mean, you get to the line so quick here whenever you're running up there, and then defenses better be ready for you guys whenever you're coming out because they don't know which way to go. So, but how do you got to rely on your offensive line quite a bit. So tell me how your relationship is with your big guys up front.
It's great. And if one of our guys, like not us, that have the ball and they score a touchdown, I'd usually run to Brody Cummins and we'll like dab each other up and I'll like hug Aiden and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, you got to have that big relationship with the big guys, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Maybe not buying them Rolexes, but maybe a burger every now and then. You know what I mean? There you go. That's what I'm talking about, too. And then so over on defense, I know you guys like playing defensive out there a lot too. So do you get to play more secondary defense or you linebackers?
Secondary.
Linebacker. So whenever you're out there too, I mean on the linebacker, do you get to when you get to the offense is coming out and say, do you or say you have to spy somebody or somebody specific? I mean, what are some of the first things you have to do whenever you're watching your offense come out?
Well, you have to make sure how many wide receivers there are at first, and making sure if there's 3, you have to get on number 2, and if there's 2, you get in the middle of them and make sure none goes in the flats.
Right. It's kind of and pop somebody coming across the middle. In the secondary back there too. Do you want to play more of a zone or more of a man-to-man type of defense out there?
Well, we mix it up a little bit. But in man, I gotta make sure I get my hands on them. Make sure they don't get free release. And in zone, I just gotta make sure I get deep.
Right.
And stuff like that.
Any interceptions this year?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got a few.
Got a few of them out there this year. Was it 3 of them last time I saw you? I think.
Yes, sir.
There you go. So a nice game out there, and I tell you, getting to take them back, on those picks. I mean, those are just some of the best feelings you can get out there, I think.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, and also too, whenever you get to on the defensive side, and you're holding down that offense there, and you get a 4th down, because you guys had a 4th down stop, the other night against Shelbyville right there toward the end, keep them out of the end zone. I mean, that just pumps up your defense even more, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
I mean, those 4th down stops are just big. Yeah. So in the celebration out there too with you guys, and there's got some great guys out there. So I've seen Rios play out there as well, and some of the other guys, like Cummins and some of those other guys out there too. But those guys are just big guys out there to have, and you're glad to have them if there's teammates. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about some of those guys.
They're amazing to play with, and they keep your spirits high, and if you do something bad, they're there to cheer you up and make sure that you're okay, and just worry about the next play and the next play and the next play. Just get off of that play and go on to the next one.
There you go. All right, so I want to ask you guys too. Any plans for after school? I mean, I know got football plans or any other things coming up after that?
Well, after football, we plan to go into basketball season.
Mm-hmm.
But after school, I'm hoping to have either some offers, or I might just go be a walk-on for somebody's team,
Right.
and just make do from there.
There you go. That's the way to do it. Continue the career and get your college education and go out there. That's for sure. Yeah, because I mean, going to any kind of school afterwards is big for everybody. That's for sure. And so, all right, and I gave the guys a chance. So anything you want to say about Coach?
Hey, I love them.
No.
I love our coaches.
Great.
They got to be intense. I mean, coaches are coaches, and they're guys. They want you guys to win. They're trying to push you guys to be the best, that they can be too. And sometimes some people could say, "Oh, there's a little too much," but to me, I think that's good. And I know that these guys are like that because it's shown by wins on the football field, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, and two, real quick, I'm going to go back to last year. We got to beat Shelbyville in the playoffs. Got to beat Shelbyville here again this year to definitely get your spot in there. So how's it feel to beat your rivals like that in those big games?
Feels great.
Right.
Always amazing to do it.
And also, too, is I know after the game you guys have some good sportsmanship because I see you guys are some friendships on both sides out there, too, So that was good to see that everybody was, good friends, good sportsmanship after the game. That's what you like to see. There you go. All right, guys. Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a good game against Garrison coming up here on Thursday night. We're going to be there for it. So any predictions?
W.
Yep. There you go. That's all those predictions you need, right? There you go. All right, well, we're going to come back. We're going to chat with Coach a little bit, talk about the games coming up and some of the things going on here as we get ready to wrap up our Ram Talk here. And thanks a lot, guys, for being here, and we'll see you on Thursday night.
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. We'll be back here to Bites and Brews in just a bit here on NETSN.
Diamond B Cafe on the corner of Tenaha and Timpson is open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. and on the Lord's Day Sunday, 7 until 2. Diamond B Cafe was voted the best breakfast in Shelby County, and that breakfast or dinner menu is available anytime that they're open. So stop on by Diamond B Cafe and visit the Brandons on the corner of Tenaha and Timpson in Center.
Shelby Savings Bank has come a long way since it was established in 1982, and the good folks that work at Shelby Savings Bank really enjoy doing things in the community and for the community. And they would like to encourage everyone to please shop local. For all your banking needs, please visit these wonderful Shelby Savings Bank locations, with 2 locations in Center, locations in St. Augustine, Palestine, and Lindale.
Wright Chrysler Dodge Jeep in Center proudly supports all the students and schools of the Piney Woods. Stop by the lot and feel free to check out all the wonderful vehicles we have to offer, no matter what adventure you're planning on taking. We have a wide selection of used vehicles and a service department that can service your vehicle. Get all the info you need about your next vehicle online. That way you're prepared for your car deal when you hit the lot. Wright Chrysler Dodge Jeep in Center.
All righty, we're back here as we'll talk to Coach here a little bit more about some of the ball games that we're going on in getting ready for the big ball game coming up on Thursday night. So let's go back here and let's talk about the Shelbyville game, Coach. And, it was a big game here for the Rams. And I tell you what, it surprised me because I didn't know how the Rams would respond after that 24-play, 10.5-minute drive that the Dragons started off with there. Kind of took up that whole first quarter, but the Rams were right there to come back and say, hey, we're ready to go.
Yeah, like when we go out there and we play a team like Shelbyville, a spread team, there's a whole lot of back and forth coaching going on with that, and I don't know how many people get into this, but we're kind of unique in that I call the offense, I call the defense, and a lot of people divvy those responsibilities up, but at the end of the day, I like knowing that I'm in charge of both. And so I had a great opportunity, over my time at Joaquin to coach with my brother, who is, I think he's the best defensive coordinator, that's ever coached, in 2A football anyways. Right. And he's He's very cerebral when it comes to defense. He's very defensive when it comes to defense, about like I am with our offense. And so I had the opportunity to learn for a long time from him. And just seeing the way that he did it when he was the defensive coordinator. I still kind of have him on staff because he's the high school principal, so I call him the consultant is what I call him. He's never at practice or anything, you know, and so it all kind of falls on me during the week to get it all done. But he's a great resource that puts in, you know, a lot of time to help us be better. And I'm thankful for that. And then when we get out there on Friday night, you know, in my opinion, it's my job to try to make him proud, you know. And when the games are over, we have plenty of arguments about what I did well and what I didn't do well, or what another defensive coordinator might have done a little differently. But, you know, I always go out there with a plan and an idea of what I want to do, and, you know, making checks to what you're getting when you're playing a team like that. It's the same way playing Honey Grove in the playoffs, you know, like if you go out there against a spread team like that who's making audibles at the line of scrimmage and you don't have the ability to do the same thing, you're going to get burnt, and you're going to give up a lot of points. And the teams that give up a lot of points to spread teams, I think that's some of the mistakes that they make. You know, they're not ready to make the adjustments on the fly like what we are. And there were several times on that first drive. You know, I told one of the guys that I knew from Shelbyville on that first drive, it was like he would move a chess piece, and then I would move a chess piece, and then his kids would look back at him, and then he would move another. And there's only 40 seconds, but a whole on that first drive of the game when you're filling each other out, and I'm trying to figure out what he's comfortable with his kids doing that maybe is a little different than what it was last year. And so, you know, throughout the course of the game, it was, you know, make a move. And we had 5 fourth downs on the first drive of the game, and we get off of it on one, and you know, a penalty that may or may not have been the right call on that one, that sets them up and lets them score. But in my opinion, you know, if your kids are playing good defense and you're making good defensive calls, you're getting to fourth down. That's the trick to it, is just get to fourth down, and then you only have to make one play. And I thought on the fourth down that we did make the play. The refs didn't help us out at all, and they were able to get it in the end zone. And like I said, maybe looking back, I'd have done something a little bit differently on the first drive. We had kind of moved some people around defensively. And, you know, they were kind of they were fit, like Zach, for instance. He was playing inside linebacker for the first time, and that's Zach Kelly. And he was trying to figure out exactly what we were doing there, you know. And but we got through that first drive, and then the rest of the time I got a little bit better feel of what I wanted to do after that long drive, and the kids settled into what we were doing, and they did a great job. You know, they did as good as they did last year, you know. And you know, like I said, we've had a few injuries on that side of the ball too, and we're kind of rolling with the punches and moving people around and stuff. But the kids executed the game plan really, really well defensively.
Right. Yeah, they did a really, really good job out there. And I mean, with only 2 drives in that first half for y'all, and then it was actually 2 for Shelbyville too. And then on the other side, it was like, you know, get into that second half, and then there was the couple of the turnovers out there. But you know, I didn't know if Reynolds was going to get run down there, but is that the fastest you've seen him run on that pick back?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I mean, it was actually two kids that are there. I mean, they're great kids. Trenton is as good of an inside middle linebacker from his ability to, you know, like who he is as a person. And then you've got Tate chasing him, Obregon, who, you know, he grew up here. He played 7th and 8th grade football here for us. I think we did a really good job coaching that group up when they were 8th graders. And to see Trenton and Tate, the 2 inside linebackers, racing down the field, you know, at warp speed for both of them, you know, it was a treat to watch, you know, and I was just glad he made it. Right?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, is he gonna catch him? He got there. He got there. And then too, we had a young man too that made some plays there. Number 17, I think it was Chambliss. Had it different on the roster there, but he made some really good plays there, kind of newer to the team as well, and he did really some good things there too.
Yeah, so Christian, he joined us it was back early in the season. His parents, that they're from here. I went to school with his mom. She was I guess she was was she 1 or 2 years younger than me, something like that. And so she moved back here to her old home place with him, and getting to coach. He's a good kid, you know, and putting him out there, he made a lot of plays. He had that one really big sack, you know, and he's a young kid. He's just a sophomore, and he's figuring things out at a new school. Things are different. I know class is different for him, you know, but yeah, he had that one really big sack, and you can tell he's a ball of energy. He's the same way at practice, just a ball of energy.
That's awesome. And too, you know, we talked about Brody and, you know, playing really well out there, you know, and the Kilpatrick boys, you know, they played really good out there too for you guys. You know, you called their names out there, but many guys out there too. You know, you got a plethora of guys that are just all over the field there, and you know, you could call different names all night on different defensive and sometimes offensive side of the ball there for the Rams is making good plays.
Yeah, you know, it's like the boys were saying, you know, when you were asking them, you know, like what do they think, you know, when they first walk out there, and I love their answer, you know, just do my job, you know, because we really lay that on them thick, you know, that each of them, they know their part, probably as well as anybody in the state of Texas, that they know their position and they know what they're responsible for every week.
Right.
And, you know, we put great game plans together every single week for them, defensively and offensively. And offensively is a little easier every week because we have what we do. We make minor tweaks week to week, but, you know, defensively is where it really stands out. And because in 2A, you may be playing, you know, Shelbyville spread one week, and you may be playing Garrison wing T the next, and none of those offenses are easy to stop. So we really put a lot of time in defensively to try to be the best, you know. And I told the boys, everybody in the district has done a pretty good job defensively this year. We have a chance to have the best defense this week if we can do a really good job versus Garrison. And I said that's something I really would like to hang my hat on.
Right.
That, you know, we may not have the stats offensively that we had last year, but we can always be good on defense.
Right. Yeah, you know, somebody, I saw, you know, people always going to say stuff out there and say that, you know, they felt like this district, even though it was as much touted as this, you know, it felt like it was a little bit weaker this year, but I don't understand where that's coming from because the defensive play by the teams in the Piney Woods is just phenomenal, you know, and you got to have a good offense to go against these good defenses to put points up there.
Yeah, and I would say this to anybody that thinks that is just like us going fourth last year. Like, you better wait till the show's over.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You better wait till the show's over before you say something is weak, because I can tell you from what I'm seeing right now from our district and what I'm seeing on film from other districts, I feel like anybody that thinks that we're weak is going to be real disappointed.
Wide-eyed surprise coming up.
Yeah, come Thanksgiving and 1st of December.
Right.
Because I really do. I see a good, clear path for us and Garrison and St. Augustine throughout the playoffs. You know, and everything is about matchup in football, but – you know, I think there's some teams that we match up way better than St. Augustine does against. I think there's some teams that St. Augustine may match up better than we do against. But, you know, when you get out there on a Friday night, everybody always asks me what's going to happen. I say, hey, it's up to these kids. It's up to these kids. When we get out there on the field, like, these kids are going to decide if we win or lose, you know. We're going to call the plays, and if they do what they're coached to do and they do it with a full heart, it's going to be really hard to beat us. And it's the same way for the other team, too. If the other team goes out there and they compete, you know, it's theirs, too.
Definitely. Well, you know, Coach, let's move into some of the offensive and defensive scenes there. You know, you guys have had, you know, this late in the season, you're going to have injuries. You're going to have little bumps and bruises and things like that. So, you know, anything different that you're having to do this year? I mean, this upcoming, on your offensive, defensive side there, as far as, you know, guys, are everybody pretty much healthy there getting into it?
Well, you know, we talked about losing the center before district started. So, O'Rear, he's kind of finding his own in that role on the team, and he's doing a great job with it, I think. Trenton, our quarterback, I think he's getting used to that being O'Rear. Right. On the other side of the ball, you know, we have, you know, little things that may hold somebody out here and there, you know, talking to the kids about the importance of this game this week versus Garrison. You know, you go as the 2 seed and you play Corrigan or Centerville. You go as the 3 seed, you play Corrigan or Centerville. And the big message that I sold the kids on after the game versus Shelbyville, and it's something that I hope they're all really, really proud of, is that we have already punched a better ticket than what we had last year.
Right.
Last year, we drew the short end of the straw. You know, we got fourth, and we had to go play a district champion from a district as soon as first rattle out of the box. And we had a great team that was fully capable of beating one district champion after the next, you know. And this year, I think we're capable of doing the same thing, but we're not going to have to play a district champion. You know, we're going to play a second or a third place team. And both of these teams, looking at their scores throughout the year, they're very similar. You know, that one of them isn't just a head and shoulders better than the other one. And I think I like the way we match up versus both of those teams. And it may be Centerville again, or maybe Corrigan, who we already played this year. You know, and that's a game that I thought that, you know, we could have opened it up pretty wide open early in the game, and we had a touchdown get called back here and there. And so it'll be fun to see how that all works out. But I'm really looking forward to the playoffs, and I said this a lot last year, and I mean it. It's a Wayne Gandy saying that he used to tell us, you know, you just want to get to that dance,
right?
You know, and
just get me there.
Yeah, and I buy into that. If you can just get us there, you know, I'll make sure that we dance well, right. You know, and I think the kids that they know that's the truth. That they should at least, you know,
after seeing the work, yeah, that's all right.
Exactly, and I think they're all really excited about the playoffs too. Just, you know, I hate to say that they look like, you know, they're just ready to get this week over with and get to it. But I sense that a little bit. That we've talked so much all year long about let's just get in and make another run. Let's just get in and make another run. Gosh, I can't wait. I can't wait to get in the play, you know. And but you know, it's easier said than done when you're in this district, you know, because until Friday night, I mean, we weren't even in yet. Right. And so I think it's something we're all looking forward to. And like I said, if we can get everybody, you know, feeling good and healthy this week, you know, we're going to go out there and do everything in our power to let our seniors go out with a win on Thursday night here at Ram Stadium. Because I told the boys today at practice, we're not going to make excuses about this or that, or, you know, is this person hurt or is that person hurt? You know, I honestly, like, I love a challenge. I love it. I love adversity. I love it when everybody, you know, pulls the chips away from us and says, man, they can't do this. I told the boys, if somebody told me that we were favored by 100, I'm not even sure that I would want to go coach the game. Right. You know, like, but man, I like feeling like the chips are stacked against us, and that we're up against some huge task. It just gets me fired up, and it makes me want to coach twice as harder, and I think it makes them want to play twice as hard. I think you're right there too. And they got a great attitude, that's for sure, Coach. But you know, talking a little bit about the opponent coming up here on Thursday, Garrison Bulldogs. You know, they're looking to win, to move ahead. You know, to do their thing there too. They want to move in there, but you know, Garrison Bulldogs always tough. Coach Alvarez always got some guys ready to play too. Yeah, you know, and me and Brandon. You know, we're pretty tight. You know, I mean, he's probably one of the only coaches that I FaceTime. You know, me and him actually video talk to each other. You know, usually, you know, at least once a week during football season. And he comes from a great family. We had his dad come over here before the year started and talk to the teachers. You know, just as a motivational speaker. Me and my brother, you know, we love Jack. We think he did great things when he was at Ennis and when he was at Kirbyville. Kind of, you know, just one of our mentors is Brandon's dad, you know, and we, you know, we think a lot of that family and what they do. I respect what they do on offense a lot. He's different than us, but he's similar at the same time. And, you know, Garrison's never short on talent, that's for sure. And he puts a good team out there, and he always challenges you with formations and trick plays and things like that. But, you know, it makes the game fun to watch. I'll remind Brandon, though, if he gets a chance to watch this, that we've played one time at Ram Stadium, and I'm 1-0 at my stadium. I had to coach against him in the COVID game when Wade and John and Westbrook and the rest of the staff, they all had COVID that night, and nobody would let them come back to school because this was when COVID was everything. And I remember they all stood in the back of their pickup trucks on the far end of the stadium and watched the game from there. And I guess me and Mike and Chad Lawrence were the three that were left. And, I got to play head coach for the first time in my life that week.
Right.
And I got to go out there and beat Brandon, and that was his first time being a head coach, at Garrison and coming in. And that's one that I reminded him of already. So we'll see how it goes. I got to try to stay undefeated.
Right,
anytime you play a friend like that, you want to make sure you hang that over their head.
Yeah, because you can always carry it on there for a while. That's for sure. I'll tell you, it's going to be a great game, and I look forward to being there and on broadcasting up there from the top of the press box where we like to get up there. But one little thing before we get to go here, Coach, because this Rams community is just phenomenal. We get to see them traveling last year in the playoffs to all the games, and then the big rivalry game last week in Shelbyville. They're going to be there for that one, and so and then talking to the good folks here at Bison Brew, they're like, oh yeah, we want to get you. And so this is a great community to and the guys love the folks around here too. You can talking to them. So what a great community you guys have here.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Me and April. I talked to her today on the phone, and we were talking about something completely different, completely unrelated to the show, and it was just like, oh hey, by the way, don't forget, we're going there, but we're doing the radio show tonight, and but yeah, the whole community, everybody seems to have the boys back year in and year out, and like they were saying about going to the game versus Shelbyville, it's one of them things. I remember thinking when we got to the stadium, like, there's going to be a lot of people here. And we're going out there, and their side's going to be packed, our side's going to be packed. And then you walk out there, and, of course, before the game, no one's there. And then you go into the locker room, and you walk back out. And when you walk back out, the whole stadium's packed, Right. And as a coach, you never really think about it. You just don't. You're just locked. I guess if you're good at it, you're just locked in, right. And so we come out, and I just remember turning around and having to tell my wife that the cheerleaders were being too loud. We just got a sideline warning. If you do it again, we're getting a 15-yard penalty. And I said, you got to get them to be quiet, put the shakers up. I said, tell the band that it's on both of y'all. It's on the cheerleaders and it's on the band. And I just remember looking that there was just a moment of clarity there where I said, my God, I don't know if this has ever happened before. Our cheerleaders are too loud. Our band is so loud. These fans are rocking and this is for a mid-season game right here. It is a level of support right now that always hope that we would get back to. And it's just good seeing it.
Right. It definitely is. I like coming over here to Joaquin. Always wonderful people everywhere around here. And so, and I know we're going to have a good one here on Thursday night too. So, and I know you'll be watching the games on Friday night to finally figure out who's what and everything there too.
Yeah.
Because, this is going to be some good ones.
We have to make a long drive down to Centerville and try to go, watch that. And the one thing I like doing more than anything is, when we drive down there to go scout anybody, is go ahead and figure out who you're playing, get the guy on the spot right there, flip the coins for whatever you're going to flip the coin for, stadiums, referees, right. Whatever. Try to get all that stuff out of the way right then, so when you get back home, you can start actually, you don't have to spend any time on the phone with nobody. You can just go right to work on what you need to do. And both of them are familiar opponents, so the work is going to be a little less of, strategizing and just getting the kids ready to go do, smash some skulls, because that is exactly what both of those games are going to look like, whether it's Corrigan or whether it's Centerville. They're both going to be competing for a lot.
Yeah, definitely, and it's going to be good stuff. I'm ready for the playoffs around here too, And maybe this, maybe I don't say I wanted to maybe do that because last year we didn't get to do any basketball games because you guys were taking through. So maybe we may have to worry about that again this year.
I'm, like I said, Larry, man, I'm hoping we make a really good push. I want them. I like them playoff wins. That they feel good. I was telling Coach Mike today. Coach Chris was the one that I was telling you about, that Honey Grove tape, and he was showing me that I've never seen it before. I don't know how I've never seen it before, but it's a great video. He said it was made by somebody in Dallas, but it's this video about the game, and I'm watching that, and I just kind of looked at Mike, and I said, hey, man, it's crazy to think we really did that. You know, we really did that. And he said, he looked at me and he was like, well, let's just do it again. You know,
might as well. If you've done it once, let's do it again.
Let's just do it again. Why not? Why not?
Definitely.
Why not us?
Why not? Definitely. That's it. All right, Coach. Well, I'll tell you what, you know, we've been here for a while there this evening, and at Bison Brew, we'll say thank you so very much to the good folks and to the guys that came out here, and thanks to you, Coach, coming down here. And we're looking forward to Thursday night, and it's going to be a good game, and it's going to be a cool night, but, you know, maybe not as cool as it has been, but it's going to be a great game, great night for football, and wrapping up the regular season, kind of find out where everybody's at from that point there too. So get ready for the playoffs after that.
Sounds great to me. I'm ready.
All right. Give me Go Rams.
Go Rams.
That's right. Here we go. Go Rams. All right, folks, we'll be here Thursday night. Ball game starts at about 7:30, and we'll be on the air a little after 7 with pregame, and we'll get you ready for halftime too as well. And my great game coming up at Garrison, and then Friday night in Timpson as St. Augustine and Timpson wrap up the regular season. Shelbyville will be in Hemp Hill to wrap up their season there. So I think that if Shelbyville can beat Hemp Hill, and if St. Augustine happens to win, I think that still maybe Shelbyville will probably get that 4 spot. We'll see how that goes up. 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be Shelbyville or Timpson, either one there. I'm not for sure how that's going to come out. But
no, it's locked in.
Is it locked in there already? Okay, I was kind of wondering how that was. I didn't know if there could be a change. You never know.
So what would happen is if, you know, Shelbyville, they beat Timpson head-to-head. So the only thing that could happen would they would have the exact same amount of wins.
Right.
And if they had the exact same amount of wins, Shelbyville would take it because they got the head-to-head.
All right, so there we go. So we got to kind of figure out how it's going to roll in from there. All right, Coach. Well, thanks a lot, like I said, for being here, and we're going to wrap this up here from Bison Brew. We'll see you on Thursday night for some great football. Have an awesome, blessed, and wonderful night, folks. And remember, if hate can go viral, so can love. We're out of here, folks. Bye-bye.
It doesn't matter if you need a truck tire or if you need a car tire. If you need a tire, you call Joaquin Tire. Joaquin Tire Shop provides new and used tires, along with oil changes and 24-hour road service. Stop and see them on Highway 7 in Joaquin. Shelby Savings Bank has come a long way since it was established in 1982, and the good folks that work at Shelby Savings Bank really enjoy doing things in the community and for the community. And they would like to encourage everyone to please shop local. For all your banking needs, please visit these wonderful Shelby Savings Bank locations, with 2 locations in Center, locations in St. Augustine, Palestine, and Lindale.